If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that I know nothing.
End of the year episode. End of the year episode. Is the end of the year episode. Last
I got
one
nothing to fuck your shit up today. I got nothing like really just jump in there.
Did it again. That's
Lex
okay.
Luthor and
That's
Batman
okay.
versus Joker and Superman.
Hey, welcome to another week. MMA for Marks.
Scott says Andy.
Really? Normally, I'm Andy. This is Ethan.
Konbawa minasan.
We're doing another episode, just the end of the year episode, where just loosey goosey talking about a bunch of shit that happened this year. Gonna go into next year. Hey, what's up, Scott? And we're gonna go.
No, that Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday. Boom! She tells him she's in church, but she doesn't know that she's on her knees, and Scotty doesn't know. Oh, Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty.
That's so great.
I can't believe she's so trusting. Why?
Hell yeah, bro.
While I'm right behind her thrusting. And Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
No.
Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Here we go. There's a little bit of fuck
awesome,
early
bro.
on.
Oh,
Euro Trip was my shit as a kid.
No, it was a great. Yeah, it was a good.
Times I beat my dick to Euro Trip when they fucked in the Vatican.
My buddy Scott
great.
too, dude, because that was his. Like, he used to hear that shit all the time as a kid. You
really?
know what I mean? Yeah. It was one of my good buddies growing up when I was a kid. So
yeah.
Shout out to Scott, dude. That's awesome. That's hilarious. What a good way to start the show too. Throwback.
Hey. There you go, bro. Euro Trip 2000. Euro Trip was the shit, dude.
Euro Trip was like when it came out, it was amazing. I wasn't allowed to watch it. I had to sneak watch it, but it was.
Bro, like I said, the amount of times I beat my dick to the Vatican scene was A1. Bro,
that was like, yeah.
Her ass
that
pressed
was the
against.
scene.
Yeah, her ass pressed against the seat with the fucking woman. Oh my god, it was great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great.
Well, let's. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, a lot to talk about tonight because it's a recap episode in the year wrap up.
Yeah.
You know, there's one more event left this year: Bellator versus Ryzen, the annual end of year end of year Japan show. They've been doing it since I think 2006.
Japanese tradition.
Yeah, so it's
a big. Like I said last week, just in Japan, Japanese culture, the New Year's in general is such a huge thing because with most Japanese people, you celebrate with your family. You stay up overnight. You stay up the entire night. Some people, and by some I mean a whole ton of people, go over to the shrine and they say their first prayers. And well wishes of the year, and then a lot of people will find a spot, whether it's in a balcony or whether it's at like the shrine location or whatever, and you'll stay up and see the first sunrise. And then from there that day, you'll have your your Pride event, your Bellator event. There's normally wrestling, like Pro Wrestling Noah is gonna have a humongous New Year's card, and etc. Like that whole like it's almost like a religious experience, you know, not just in beliefs, but just like in terms of the entire country coming together for that one particular period of New Year's. So it's really dope the way the Japanese culture does that. I mean, over here in America, we just get fucked up and just are hungover the next day watching college football or something.
That's every holiday too. Every holiday.
Kind of, yeah.
Every holiday.
Independence Day, Budweiser.
You know what I mean? Christmas, eggnog. You know what I mean? Yeah. So but that's the last show of the year. So, and that's a pretty big in the MMA community. It's making some pretty good rumblings. It sounds like Bellator's kind of got the pick, got the favorite picks over there. So, but I would not be surprised if they go over there and get fucked up because
it's going to be a great card.
They're fighting. There's the flight to Japan, which back in the day when the UFC and these guys would come over from Pride and UFC. It was what was infamous about those fights was the flights coming over. So there's going to be that. Those who go early are going to be better suited. And then there's also the fact that, well, I was going to go to the judges, but let me hold off on that. The ring itself, it's a ring, not an octagon, not a.
It is. It is an actual ring. It's not even a cage.
That is
not a cage. It's an actual ring.
Tremendously different for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, it's not that difficult though to just go to find a boxing gym or if your gym has a boxing.
Ring, a lot of their gyms probably
train there. Just train there. Just train there.
But it's not the same.
It's not the same. If you've had like 30 fights in a cage and then you go into a ring in a competitive fashion, you're right. It is very vastly different. Absolutely.
I think it's probably hard to emulate like that Ryzen style, Pride style with so many catchers and and officials there on the sides to like stop guys from coming out of the ring and things like that, and that bottom rope that they have. I don't know if they've got that. So, definitely interesting. But also too, we're gonna get in is we're gonna best KO, best sub, best fight. We're gonna go over a bunch of moments from this year. There's a ton, everything from Patty going nuts. The new
Patty the bad.
Yeah. Oh no, Patty.
Patty the bad.
Kayla Harrison news, PFL, bunch of splashes, bunch of stuff we'll get into. So just strap in, light up, drink up.
If you need a safe word, it's Rubenheim.
Yeah.
That's your safe word.
I think eventually we can get Ethan to maybe pour himself a drink of something. I don't know,
dude. Not tonight, brother.
This guy, brother. This guy's being a work guy with me, so which I respect.
A good lad. Good lad. Being a good lad, sir.
Over there.
Being a good lad.
Presiding over the people in Her Queen's Majesty's right way.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
It's his King Majesty, sir. The Queen.
No, it's Her Queen Majesty.
The Queen has retired off to the afterlife. It's no longer the Queen, sir. It's now the King. However, yes.
Sir, how dare you?
I'm only spitting facts, Governor. I'm only spitting facts,
sir.
Only spitting facts.
Just being humbly honest with you, my lord.
That's all I know how to be, Governor. Is how to be just completely and utterly
to not really. You know what I mean? I was gonna say. Yeah.
Anyway.
So I don't know. How are you doing before we jump into all this
Christmas life?
All this stuff, holidays and good holidays?
Yeah, it was an alright holiday. We did all of our stuff during the eve. So I spent all my fucking day on actual Christmas Day just watching anime. Truth be told. I watched anime.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. It's the end of the year. Shout out to my boy Matt with the Talk to Kiki podcast. We'll be recording Thursday. We'll be recording our final reviews and our seasonal awards, and then the week after that will be our annual awards. So I spent a little bit of time just going over the annuals and things of that nature. So yeah, I just spent a lot of time watching fucking JoJo. If you want to get high as a motherfucker and watch some fucking insane anime, watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Angel can tell you all about it. Especially if you're fucking like tripping balls or you're high as a kite, if you watch that shit, you'll be like, what the fuck is happening? So that's what I watched on fucking New Year's. I watched part 6 of JoJo.
Were you high as a kite?
I was not. I was drinking though.
Drunk as a skunk?
Not quite. It's depressing when you're by yourself and drunk as a skunk.
It was more of a sip.
I don't like being drunk as a skunk by myself because I'm just like, I don't have anybody to vibe with, Yeah.
Hard when you don't have the vibes.
It's hard.
You know what I mean?
You can't enjoy your high or your drunk without having some sort of vibe. You know what I mean? Like being by yourself will only carry you so far, and what you're doing before it's just like, all right, well, it'd be nice to laugh with somebody. And then that's when you start texting and making bad choices.
Right. And bad purchases. Huh?
And bad purchases. I am, yeah.
You know about that, huh?
I know all about that. I need a hat. I need a $60 hat to match my $40 shirt and my 3 shoes that match this shirt. Bye. Did I show you the picture that I got of the of the stickers they sent me with the hat?
No.
Oh my god! Here, I'm gonna send this to you really quick so you can see it. Let me see if I have it still. Yeah, I do have it. Let me copy. Andy. You just gotta look at the one sticker on the left.
Messaging. Okay.
Tell the viewers what you're seeing.
So for even if you're following us on video, I don't have a. Yeah, you can't really see it. It's on the.
You can't screen share. If you could screen share, that would be nice. But you can't screen share.
Yeah. Well, it's on text message, but yeah, it is two nuns praying at the altar, and they
definitely not. There's two nuns, but they're not praying at the altar, brother.
Being a little alternative in the way that they seem like they're praying to the Lord.
Say what it is. It's two old nuns. One is bent over with her skirt up.
Are they old?
They're old. They have wrinkles and shit. And the one nun is holding a paddle that says "bitch" and "sin." Awkward silence.
That's
Now that's what they sent me as a hat, or with my hat rather.
That's really sweet of them.
It is.
That's a sweet gift. We call those sweet Christmas gifts.
It is. You know, I paid $60. They gave me a little extra.
Oh, totally worth the $60. Sounds like
gave my friends some laughs. There we go. I sent it to my friends. They're like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "I know, dude. I want that sticker. No, you're not gonna get it."
Yeah, for real. Everybody's gonna be like, and you shouldn't put it on anything. By the way, you should just leave it as the sticker. You haven't used it, right?
No, I have a bag. Like I have a bag of stickers from various places that I've gotten stickers from. And they're just there. Like I figure one day I might have a use for them. Like I'll fucking have like some sort of wall or some sort of something that I can put these stickers on. Like you know how like if you go into like one of those like what like hole in the wall fucking bars and they have like fucking graffiti and stickers and shit everywhere.
Like a dive bar, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been in a few of those.
Yeah.
They're real fun. Yeah, your notifications will be silent, huh? Yeah.
Why do I care? You send me a message.
Podcast for over a year and everything.
Why do I care? Honestly, he asked me a question. I'm like, why do I give a fuck?
Wait, what are you talking about? You care about what? What do you mean?
The answer to your question. I don't give a fuck.
Oh. What was my question?
Nigga, read your text.
Oh. Okay. Well, I wasn't asking about you. I was asking about him.
I don't give a fuck. Let's get the show on the road, dude. We're fucking over here like Cheech and Chong, fucking like out of our minds, talking random shit.
I'm just railroading your intro. You know what I mean? I'm just, you know what I mean?
I didn't have an intro. You're just railroading the fucking podcast at this stage because we're supposed to be talking about fucking MMA news and highlights. How was yours? Let me return the sentiment. How was your family?
It was good. Let's get into it. All right, listen. There was a lot of KOs this year, a ton of KOs. A lot of
fucking MMA. The fuck?
Huh?
I said, duh, it's MMA.
Yeah, it's MMA. It is MMA. So there was a lot of KOs, but there was also a lot of other things and stuff. But we're going to talk about KOs first.
A lot of James Krause.
A lot of James Krause, yeah. So yeah, I got a couple things to pick on. I know you got your list. I'll go with mine first. For honorable mention, I'll start with honorable mention. I got when Hill, Jamal Hill, Johnny Walker, when he springboards him, when he knocks him out, and Johnny Walker just does that miraculous just like cross, like the nuns you just showed on the cross when they just springboard back and go, and he smashes into the cage. I got that as honorable mention. I thought that was amazing. Yeah, that was a great KO. Yeah. As far as second, I did first and second too, because it was just hard. It was so hard to pick just one. You know what I mean, without mentioning respect to the others. Yeah. So with second, I got Derek Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa. Yeah. That was just, I mean, dude, that was an amazing KO. Yeah. It was in Houston. You know, Tuivasa just like those elbows were. Yeah. They were unbelievable. You know what I mean? They were just.
Hi.
Yeah.
What's it on this?
Yeah, they were thunderous. And
magnanimous.
Yeah. Shish kebab.
Read your shish kebab. What the fuck? Okay.
They were But yeah, it was a good KO. That was my second. But for overall, and I know some people are going to disagree, and there's whatever. I know you might disagree too, but I had Chandler versus Ferguson with the front.
I mean, yeah, it was a great fucking front kick,
dude. We don't get the Spartan kicks a lot, especially the ones that
bro. Ferguson's face looked like it stepped back into evolution. I always make the joke Tony Ferguson looks like a monkey, like not trying to be racist, but he looks a little like a monkey. And like he kicked him in the face, and it looked like he stepped backwards in evolution. That's how bad that front kick was.
He really. Yeah,
look at him. He went from Tony Ferguson to Neanderthal with that fucking kick.
Yeah, he got knocked back a few steps in the evolutionary chain.
Yeah, he got knocked so hard he went to Harvard.
It was crazy. Well, and then too, like Frankie Eggers, I'm thinking of Frankie Eggers the same way because he's got that one hit. Is it from Corey Sandhagen?
Yeah,
when he hits Corey Sandhagen hits that knee.
Yeah,
dude, his face is it's monkified, like you said. Like it's just all like it's just just in that slow motion. That's come out in the last couple of years. It's something that's been pretty cool.
Yeah,
that time.
Bro, I would have loved if they shot that. Have you seen a Phantom cam? The Phantom. Are you familiar with a Phantom cam?
I don't. What explain it to me? Maybe I am. I don't know.
So I watch when I'm bored or trying to just get something to laugh at. I watch How Ridiculous. How Ridiculous is a show of 3 Australian guys who don't curse, but they do like insane shit. And what they do is they have a Phantom cam. Phantom cam is over $100,000 camera that shoots slow motion at 26,000 frames a second. So when you're like making things explode, making things go splat, breaking things like in like fucking a billion pieces, like the slow-mos you get from that are off the chain. So literally if they would have shot that Tony Ferguson front kick on a Phantom cam at 26,000 frames per second, you would literally see like inch by inch his face just like crumple into fucking Neanderthal. It would have been absolutely incredible.
Someone should do a video on that.
I mean, they already do the slow-mo videos, and that's how you're able to get the freaking the Neanderthal face. But to be able to see that, just like crowd going audible,
real foot to face action there.
That'd be fucking cool. That would definitely be fucking cool.
Yeah, or even someone doing a video like animating it to you, like to like saying that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I felt like even and into the implications of it, it was really the overall the most significant fall from grace that thank you, the most overall significant fall from grace that that you could see for Tony Ferguson. You know what I mean? Because it's like he's been a part of so many huge fights. He's been a part of so many big events. And Michael Chandler is this guy that's coming over from Bellator, and you know how I feel about Michael Chandler. I don't really love the guy. You know what I mean? Like I've never really enjoyed this type of.
No matter what, he's still.
No matter what, you can't take. He's exciting. I love to see him fight. I can't. You know what I mean? You can't take away from that. You know it's going to be bananas. Yeah. But to see, Tony Ferguson is also one of the wildest competitors we had at the time as well.
Yeah.
And so he kind of to see him go out and kind of get eaten by his own style almost in a way. His own sort of insanity was it's kind of sad, but also fitting for the sport.
Fitting. And that's how Tony Ferguson's going to go out, bro. He's going to go out either on a win or on his shield, and that's perfectly fine, and that fits perfectly, honestly. You know what I mean? So totally. So so you mentioned the implications, and that's what I went with. The ones I chose weren't the most spectacular knockouts that we saw, but I went with the most implicative knockouts of the year and what they meant. And they're mostly in critical fights or championship fights. So my honorable mention actually isn't one of those. My honorable mention is seeing Tai Tuivasa get knocked out also against Pavlovich at UFC Orlando when I was there. Like I said, the whole night, the one guy the crowd wanted to see was Tuivasa. The one thing they wanted to see was Tuivasa doing a shoey after a knockout. And that was not the case. There was a guy who brought in an extra shoe, fresh shoe, specifically for a shoey. He didn't get to use that shoe, brother. We saw fucking Tuivasa get destroyed and fast. And that crowd was Silence. That crowd started chanting USA. Even though Tuivasa's not from the fucking USA, but okay, they started chanting USA because they're fucking idiots. And then you see Tuivasa get destroyed in under a minute, and fucking everyone just like boo or silence. It was silence. That fucking killed the crowd until the main event. Totally killed it. But I thought it was a wonderfully poetic moment as an MMA fan when you have like this beautiful expectation, especially when we both picked Tuivasa to win by knockout on that podcast, and we were so gloriously fucking wrong. And so was most of the MMA community on that one. But in terms of the fights that I chose, like I said, that's my honorable mention. But the KOs that I chose, we'll go with if I can find it again. Where did I lose it? I thought I had it. You went with 2, so I'll go with 2. That's fine. So we'll go with the easiest one, which is for me, Pereira and Izzy, just because of the fact that happened during a title fight. Again, both mine happened during title fights. So again, Pereira and Izzy, Pereira upsetting Izzy because it was an upset, despite the fact that, the track record was that Pereira had Izzy's number, and they're like, no way, this is a different ball game. He has no ground game. Like, it's not going to happen. And they stood and banged, and fucking Pereira ended up with that stoppage. A little controversial or not, regardless, either way, it was still a definitive moment. Knocked off Izzy, who was becoming the boogeyman of middleweight, talking about going to light heavyweight, having these grandiose plans, being the premier African champion, the only African, the second, I mean, you could call him basically the only African champion because Usman lost, who we'll get into next, and Francis is inactive. So he was the only true African champion. He was holding that pride because they had the 3 African champions at the time. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So, that was very implicative. It happened in Madison Square Garden at the Mecca of Meccas. Yeah. So it was very, very poignant and very noteworthy, and that's why I chose that one. And then, of course, the second one that I was going to mention is Usman and Edwards. Everybody and their mother picked Usman. Usman was dominating the fight, and out came a head kick from nowhere. We call it the head kick from nowhere. He trained it, so you can't really call it a head kick from nowhere. But regardless, hit him with that head kick with, I think, a minute and a half to go in the 5th round, knowing that he was going to be down 4-1 at that time. And he won. He shockingly won. And now he's got, even though he's supposed to face Usman, there's doubt that Usman's going to be ready because of his hand injury. But regardless, he gets his dream. He gets to defend the UFC title on home soil in England in March against potentially Jorge Masvidal, which will still be a money fight, even though everybody agrees Masvidal doesn't really deserve that fight. There's a few other guys ahead of him that probably should get that fight. But regardless,
I think he should get the fight because it would be good for Leon to get those pay-per-view points. And
yeah, it'll be great for Leon to pay-per-view points.
Business dictates it's the best time to do the fight.
It is.
Everything Leon will ever be.
Aligning. If I'm not mistaken, the 2-piece Minnesota happened in England as well, if I recall that correctly. So
it's a perfect write a better storyline.
Yeah, if in terms of like the story and the business, it's the right fight. In terms of the honorability of choosing the premier opponent besides Kamaru Usman, it's not. But we all know the UFC doesn't believe in that, so they're going to make the perfect storm. But regardless, Edwards, he got his title. He's got he gets to defend the title on pay-per-view soil. He gets a highlight reel knockout that are going to be shown for years to come, and was one of the premier finishes and one of the most shocking finishes of the year as well. So those are the 3 that I went with.
Yeah, well, and I really like going back to your Izzy, Pereira pick. I like that pick too because there's so much, Pereira had already dominated Izzy in another sport. You know what I mean? You could say, well, it's kickboxing, but that is another sport, and definitely there were elements of MMA in this fight, in this new fight, in this 3rd match that Izzy tried to implement. That Pereira had an answer for and a defense for, and then was able to. And I mean, bro, a lot of people are forgetting this just because of the time. Everybody's so forgetful. But remember, Pereira almost lost that fight. He almost lost in the 1st round. Izzy almost had him cold out. You know what I mean? It was
he stunned him
close.
He stunned him, and he hung on.
He hung on and he stayed on, but he was losing the fight overall throughout the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like as time goes on.
Yeah, Izzy was winning that fight. He was going to win.
But people will forget that. You know what I mean? Like by the time we get to the next fight, everybody will just remember him winning. Hardly anybody will even remember. I mean, who knows?
Well, all of the obvious fans will do that, but I mean,
no,
all the real fans are still going to say that he doesn't have a real shot against half the division, because half the division has solid ground games.
I don't think I'm talking about us or any of our listeners. I'm talking about casuals for sure.
Yeah, the casuals for sure.
Anyone who's listening to this show is,
they're
primed up, dude. They know what's up.
You already know. Yeah,
Hey, if you're this deep, you're there. You know what I mean?
You're in there like swimming, baby.
Yeah, dude. I think for Izzy, it says a lot. Like you said, there's so much implications. A lot of people are saying he was becoming the next Anderson Silva, or had already become it, or was surpassing it. For me, that's just a real hard thing to do. It's not to me.
No, that's not to be. It's not going to be duplicated.
A close second, yes.
It cannot be
second. The second best in the division, yes. Overall, yeah. And domination for sure.
Yeah.
But overall, we talked about this before. Izzy's whole title reign has kind of just been not what we thought it would be.
Ever since he won against not one, he defended when he defended against he defended against Witt, about Rob Witt, about Bobby Knuckles. That was his last real exciting fight. That's when he came out with the guys doing the haka.
Fire fight too. Remember him at Gastelum?
That
was fucking.
That was before he was champion. That was before he became champion.
That was for the belt. That was for the interim title.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, that one was for the marbles. So
yeah. Well, it was for half the marbles, not full marbles.
Imagine freaking Chris Weidman versus Izzy.
Broken foot.
Well, yeah, before. Just saying. Chris
foot.
Weidman was a beast of a wrestler before all that shit, dude. And he did figure out a way to get past Anderson Silva, so I'm just saying.
Broken foot.
I know about it. Yeah. Right on, man. Yeah, I solid list. Well, let's move on to submission.
Yeah.
There was, again, like KOs, there was a lot of.
These were more prevalent. Honestly, submissions were more prevalent, I feel.
They were. That's what I was about to say. There are as many KOs there was almost twice as many submissions.
You're right.
And there was a lot of, MMA is full of, like, when I pick a lot of my picks are not based, like you explained. A lot of my picks are based off of
your dicks.
A lot of my bits. A lot of my.
They said dicks. I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you did. A lot of my picks are based off of like exciting KOs, exciting submissions, exciting fights, not just like the most popular ones or whatever got like the most views or whatever. Because a lot of submissions and a lot of KOs are just like, uppercuts, jabs, head kicks or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even spinning
it's more exciting. You're right. When you get a spinning kick or you get a spinning back fist, to me, that's almost the equivalent as a flying triangle, a twister,
for sure,
a fucking a Von Flu, like seeing those type of shows are those take the cake for me.
But you don't see those very often, and what you do for submissions is you do see a lot of rear naked chokes, a lot of arm bars, and a lot of triangles. Yeah. So I didn't pick, triangles in the guard, for instance, leg triangle. Yeah. I didn't pick any of those. So right off the bat, I don't have any of those because, like I said, we see those all the time. And to me, even though maybe it's for a title, maybe the implication of it might be amazing. To me, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a standout submission. You know what I mean? Especially when we're living in a sea of submissions.
I went with the opposites, as you know. We'll get to mine when you're done.
Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. It's just my perspective.
Sure.
I didn't have an honorable mention, but what I did do 2 and 1. So for 2, I've got Nurmagomedov versus Cody Stamann. That, and I know that was more recent, but I really feel like it was such a clean, assassin-worthy choke. I watched it back again earlier, and it's just the way he caught him was so intentional.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like the way
it was drilled.
Oh, and he it wasn't just so much drilled; it was so instinctual. And the way he clasped down, he was just like,
it was a shark. It was a shark with blood. Shark with blood.
It was just like that. You know what I mean? Like that classic thing. Like you beat the hell out of the Russian, and he's just like, "I have you now." You know what I mean? And it's just like
cinch.
Yeah, cinch. I have you now. You know, and it's just fucking over. And Cody Stamann was over. It was gone. and he was winning the fight, and it was over and taken from him.
Those are the
And
best too. The ones that when you get like a comeback or you get fucking somebody who knows ahead. Those mean even more, no doubt.
Off with his head, and fucking the Mega Man off just went. Roger that, Your Majesty. Fucking took him. So that was my two. Yeah, bastard. And I mean those folks. And so yeah, that was my number two. Number one, I had Amanda Lemos versus Jessica Andrade. The standing arm choke. The standing arm triangle. Sorry. Dude.
I love those.
I'm sorry. That I can watch that submission like 100 times in a row. It's so freaking good. And it's so technical. Yeah. And it's just so worthy of a highlight, dude.
It's vicious. It's so vicious. Just have somebody in a fucking like they're cranking their shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's so great. Like to me, my favorite submission of all time is always going to be John Jones fucking dropping Lyoto Machida like a sack of shit. Always going to be my favorite submission, I think.
I might have to agree with you. I mean, good Lord, that was such a good.
So savage.
Still, I just love. I know I said it before, but Greg Jackson, get some fans on.
Get some check on him.
Check on him, John. Check on Machida. Check on Lyoto. John, you piece of shit. Get some fans.
Run over a woman.
Yeah, dude.
Oh God, fantastic.
John's like, hit him some more. Okay, just starts wailing.
No DQ.
Oh no
DQ.
His career
it's not Hamill. It's not Hamill.
Yeah. And Matt Hamill becomes the light heavyweight champion. But no, I thought, dude, that standing arm triangle. First off, you just don't see it. You don't see it in tournaments because tournaments just always go to the ground. Grappling tournaments, jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Well, there's nothing to fucking grab onto.
Right. There's no obstacle. There's no.
And there's gis unless you're doing no gi.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say even in no gi though, there's no. There's no real.
You can't pose. Yeah, you can't pose.
I mean? Yeah, the boundary is invisible. You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
Really.
Yeah. So, and then they'll bring you in on top of that. If you're in a stalemate, they'll just bring you in and start you in the position.
So, but it's so different. That's why in MMA, I think that's why in MMA too, you do have a lot of, like I said, a lot of rear nakeds, a lot of arm bars, and a lot of because that's what a lot of the cage and the surrounding environment kind of offer up. That's why when you see a Demetrius Johnson pole vaulting,
Ray Borg.
Man, what's his name? How can I forget his name?
Ray
Borg. Thank you.
Ray Borg. I said it. Yeah.
Ray Borg into the air, into an armbar.
Bro, Joe Rogan. Oh my God! You hear Daniel Cormier. Oh my goodness! You hear Joe Rogan. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Like, bro.
I mean, dude, that submission was.
That's like, bro. That's like a Michael Jordan dunk.
It was like
that is like a Michael Jordan dunk in MMA.
Yeah.
No doubt. Another all-timer.
Yeah. But yeah.
So, those are yours. Mine, I went with the most implicative fights. The two easiest ones that everybody should know about. Number 2 is Makhachev fucking dominating fucking Oliveira and tapping him in the second round, but I believe it was a guillotine. No one expected that. Honestly, we expected well, let me phrase that. I remember you and I were on the podcast and we specifically said Oliveira's got a good ground game. He's got a really good ground game, but it's not Russian wrestling ground game. And if it goes to the ground, he's in trouble. And we expected the fight to get on the ground. No doubt we expected that. But we also expected Oliveira to come out a lot stronger than he did. He was very flat. He was very timid in there. It felt like he was really fighting with everything to lose and nothing to gain from this fight. While on the other hand, Makhachev was a fucking killer. Makhachev was a shark smelling blood from the moment they fucking said, let's get it on. And he, again,
let's get it on. Come on.
We rest in peace, Mills Lane. And he basically, bro, I mean, it was total domination. It looked so easy. It looked so easy. It literally looked like Makhachev was in there against like a jiu-jitsu fucking like yellow belt or something, dude. Like, it was bad. It was bad and not expected. Again, we expected more of a fight from Oliveira, and the fact that Makhachev tapped him so easy, you can say all you want about Oliveira. He had the great run, he had the long run, they caught up to him. He was flat. He didn't have a good camp. We didn't get any of those implications. It was just one guy was just so much more dominant than the other. And again, the implications for that are massive in terms of the lightweight division, which we'll talk about later. Just in terms of how crazy that is to take the boogeyman of the lightweight division and Charles Oliveira that's gone through everybody and just fucking get him out there like that and make it look easy. So crazy. And now Makhachev is the head dog. And, you know, who's going to stop Makhachev? It's a big question. Who's going to stop Makhachev? That's one of the big things going into 2023. Who's going to be the guy? Is there a guy? Who knows?
There is a guy. His name is Kobe.
He's not coming back, dude.
And he's not coming back, so there is no guy.
I mean, you know, we'll get into it as we go along in 2023, but regardless,
it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can challenge the mental for sure.
Yeah, and then of course the number one is by most people's accounts the fight of the year, Jerry and fucking Glover. Jerry winning with that guillotine with 5 seconds, I think, to go in the fight.
Yeah,
5 seconds, and Jerry, I believe, was losing. It was a close fight, but everybody believes Jerry was losing. And to walk off guillotine, 5 seconds to go, and the implications of that are even more massive. To be honest, I feel that the implications of that fight are the biggest story in terms of the UFC, in my opinion, this year. Because after that fight, everybody's shocked. Who's going to stop Jerry? He gets hurt. The Glover fight, the Glover for the title doesn't happen. We get fucking Ankalaev and not Ankalaev. What's his face? God damn it. Fuck, I'm forgetting his name. God, fuck. Blachowicz. There we go. We get Blachowicz.
Jan.
Yeah, we get Jan. And it is Ankalaev, right?
Yeah.
Ankalaev, yeah. And that goes to a draw. Everybody feels that Ankalaev got screwed off of that. And now the title's in upheaval. Now we get Jamal Hill versus Glover. And so just in terms of the continuation of the what's the word I'm looking for? Of the I guess you can call it, maybe for lack of a better word, like a merry-go-round in the lightweight division ever since John Jones fucking fucked up his life and fucked up like missing like a combined, I think, 2 years of his MMA career. Because of his stupidity. Like,
what do you mean, man? He retired.
He
retired.
He hasn't fucking retired. He's gonna fight heavyweight. We all know that. But regardless, the staple of the division, the anchor of that division, ever since he fucked up his life and things changed. I mean, yeah, you had DC in there, but then DC ended up just staying a heavyweight for the most part. And it's just been continuous upheaval in there, and it continued after we expected to have a great dominant champion, and that went to shit fairly quickly. And regardless, though, in terms of the submission itself, it's obviously one of the better submissions that in the UFC history, you could say, just because, again, the fact that it was a walk-off for the belt out of nowhere. And Glover was scratching and clawing, trying to get out, and Jerry had that shit just fucking clamped in, and he was fighting. He was literally clamping that shit like his life depended on it. Like he was gonna commit seppuku in the back if he didn't fucking get that. That's how hard he was holding on to that bitch to make Glover tap with 5 seconds to go. So again, massive. They're the two obvious choices. But in terms of the significance of those wins, two brand new champions off of two impressive fucking submissions. It's impossible to not include those in any list whatsoever, unless you're a moron.
Yeah. Well, list of there's a 22, you know, there's a lot of changes in 22, bro. A lot of changes in 2022. So champions, Usman got upset, you know.
I think they said it was 9 champions.
Yeah, something like that. It was
supposed to be 10, but it was 9.
7. Yeah, you know,
9 different champions in 2022.
The one that the UFC tried to get off the list, Ngannou, he's still there.
Still there, buddy.
He's still there. Everyone else, the UFC assassinated. The UFC was like, "Is he? Let's get him out of there."
Oh God. Anyway,
but good list. Right on. I like your list.
Right.
I didn't put any of those on my list, but like I said, yeah, I didn't.
Because I went with the obvious, and I told you I was just gonna go in terms of the biggest implicative fights. of the year versus
implicative.
versus the more outstanding and unique ones, which is totally fine. We cover two aspects, which are both valid.
Yeah, exactly.
It works.
Okay, well, moving on. I'm gonna do best fight, and I didn't really pick. I mean, I do have one, but it's more. It's not really one. It's not really 1, 2, 3 like that. It's more just these are the four. I picked 4 of them. 4 fights that I just thought were absolutely amazing. I think you can go back and watch them at any time this year, and it's really good. To start with, like I said, no particular order. Teixeira versus Prohaska. I mean, I thought.
Of course.
Amazing fight, dude. Amazing fight.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Yeah. So it's got to be in there. Poirier versus Chandler. I mean,
of course.
Just the first round alone belongs in the Hall of Fame. The first round of that fight belongs in the fucking Hall of Fame, dude. Those guys went, you know, those the 5 minutes that those guys gave in the first round of that fight. Yeah, glory.
I still think the best fight I've ever seen ever, I think, is Doo Ho Choi and fucking Cub Swanson. That's an
amazing fight. Yeah, overall.
Overall, like I'm just thinking that's for best fight ever. I think that's my best fight ever.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a real good one.
Unrelated.
I don't know if I can even pick one like that. That's so crazy. Off the top of my dome. Oh, so many I have to think of.
So many, there are so many.
but yeah, I don't. But Poirier versus Chandler was just fireworks, man. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things where, and it had heat. It had heat before. It was a big storyline before of it. You know what I mean? So it was cool.
Yeah.
I also had Calvin Kattar versus Giga Chikadze.
Yeah.
That was the Giga show. That was not. It was amazing, and especially after Calvin Kattar got the brakes beat off of him by fucking Max Holloway a year before.
That's another all-time fucking fight.
And it was for 21 that was an amazing. That was one of the best fights. That might have been the best fight of the year. Yeah. But dude, for him to take that beating, and to come back and to put the whooping, he basically it's like he fucking absorbed Highlander style, all that shit that you know what I mean? It's just like he just fucking went and meditated for 9 months after Holloway beat the brakes off, and then he came back and he was just like, okay, redistribute. You know what I mean? It just fucking whack. Yeah. And Giga was just overwhelmed being nice.
Yeah.
And then, last I got Adriano Moraes versus Demetrius Johnson.
Oh, okay. You have a one note.
I don't. Well, yeah. I mean, how could you not even? I mean, if you're like, if you're a real dog of the sport, dude, that fight was bonkers. You know what I mean? The way it ended. Don't know how the first fight went for DJ. You know what I mean? And then to see him with that flying knee, dude. Like to see our boy. You know what I mean? Our flyweight boy, the UFC originally still going, in another organization, just doing that. It's just nice, and I know he's not in the UFC anymore, but I still feel like, Demetrius Johnson, he's just, how could you not love that guy? If you're a real fan of the sport, you know what I mean? Yeah. How do you not? It's so hard to not be one to root for him, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's for best fight. That's my best fights of the year.
Yeah. I went 3. I only picked 3. Nice. My first one I'll pick is I'll go different because you took a couple of my fights that I was in because they're obvious picks. So I'll do your route. I'll go with the less obvious.
It's okay it's all right. No big deal.
Well, no, let's give a little bit of variety. If we're gonna have a whole card, we could build a whole super card based off of this. So I'll give you 3. Chito Vera and fucking and Dominic Cruz. That was a really great fight. Chito Vera getting that finish was impressive. A lot of people were talking about this is the major test for Chito Vera. Like, can you get past the former champion, someone who's consistently great, consistently in that top conversation? And Dominic Cruz had a layoff, but Dominic Cruz is Dominic Cruz. He's, for all intents and purposes, he's a pioneer when it comes to the footwork that he introduced to the to the fight game, and it was a very good fight, kind of back and forth. Chito was definitely winning that fight, and then to get that finish was really, really impressive. And it was to me, Cheeto's coming out party, in my opinion, you know. So that put him on the map. That put him in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that fight particular did, and it set him on course to be one of the top guys going into 2023. He's got big moves coming ahead. He's got a fight coming up soon, so that's gonna definitely, you know, be in that conversation in terms of implications. And that's another thing too, in terms of a couple of the fights that I chose, like implications less in terms of the overall scheme of UFC, but more in terms of personal implications for their career. All of these fights are significant from that aspect in terms of career fights.
Big time. Yeah.
And so that was most definitely a career fight for Cheeto Vera. And certainly something that you guys should check out. The number 2 one that I picked is going to be Oliveira and Gaethje, dude. That was another fucking banger, dude. That was another banger. Fucking Justin Gaethje swinging for the fences, Oliveira matching him. Both of those guys getting clipped and getting hurt, and then fucking Oliveira taking down the freaking the brute, the fucking force that is Justin Gaethje, and tapping him. Fan fucking
that was amazing.
Excitement, exciting, fucking. Oh my god, it was wonderful. And the other fight that I'll pick, that I'll give over here, is the number 2 one on a couple people's lists, and that is Khamzat and Burns. Chimaev and Burns was fucking exciting. We expected to have a great fight, and we got it. We got Khamzat's biggest fucking test. We got Chimaev's biggest test against Gilbert Burns, who is a perennial contender. Burns was looking great early on. I was really thinking, holy shit, Burns can put him out. And then he got caught, and I was like, oh no, is he going to get fucking rocked? And they just stood there back and forth throughout that entire fight, and it was so good. I believe I was sitting at Buffalo Wild Wings watching that fight, and I was like, holy shit, every fucking few seconds of that fight. So it was a glorious fight. Khamzat came out ahead on that one, but nobody lost, in my opinion. I don't think anybody lost that fight. Gilbert Burns is one tough motherfucker, and his stock rose for taking this phenom that is Khamzat Chimaev and giving him his hardest fight to date, and surviving and looking really damn good and making him look vulnerable, which is something that no one had up to that point made. Was showing that there are chinks in the armor and there's a bit of vulnerability with Khamzat.
Yeah.
So
definitely we all saw that he bleeds and he is human.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, there's a shot. It's no longer like the invincible force, you know. I mean, he's still up there in terms of perhaps being the immovable object, but he was no longer the invincible force that day. So loved it. Loved those fights. Loved your fights. I mean, hell, if you watch 7 fights this year, you know, those are some of them. And like I said, in terms of fight of the year, like we've said, there's so many other ones that fly under the radar, like stuff that you'll see on the prelims that are just fucking, oh my God, great. You know, so
big time. Yeah. No, great list, dude. I love all 3 of those fights. I like that you went alternative.
Yeah.
And like you said, dude, any of the fights we just mentioned, you can go back and watch. You know what I mean? If you're interested.
ESPN Plus, motherfuckers.
ESPN Plus. I'll try to post our best subs and stuff like that tonight on the Facebook too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Kind of get everybody's opinion. So I want to do something a little different. I don't know if you maybe have seen in the notes or not, but I didn't really think about it too much in depth. But I just thought, you know, let's do our top 5 favorite fighters. Give me your top 5 favorite fighters. I'll go first.
Oh God, I didn't think
about it.
When did you put this? You put this earlier, and I didn't see it.
Yeah. You probably didn't, but
I didn't see that. Good God.
I'm just gonna pick. I'm gonna pick a division and a fighter or 2. You know what I mean? So that's you know just one from a division. Shit. So I know you don't have to necessarily give 5, but if you can give at least 5, just try 5. I mean, there's 13 divisions. I was thinking about doing one for each division, but I'm like, fuck that. So, like,
you could do one for each division.
You want to do one for each division?
Yeah, we could do one for each division.
Okay, I'm down. All right,
let's not have the rankings up.
You know, I'll start. You know, I'll start with the.
Start flyweight. Let's just go up.
Yeah. I'll start with the women's bantamweight.
You want to go women's? You know, no disrespect to women's MMA.
Gotta go all the way down, bro.
No disrespect to women's MMA.
But you have a favorite fighter in the division. I know you do.
Pena, I guess. If I had to pick one.
Pena's your favorite. Well, I was gonna say because Nunes would be my favorite fighter in the bantamweight.
Yeah, obvious.
Yeah, well, but I I mean,
okay.
Other than that, it would be probably Yana Kunitskaya because I really like her style and shit. But she's pretty much disappeared off the map. She's hanging out with Santiago.
For me, I was the only one of the few people that was rooting for Julia Pena in her fight against Nunes. I was one of the only people that was fucking cheering loudly when she won, when she upset her. So, I mean, I just, for me, as I've said before in the past on various episodes, one of the reasons why I love combat sports is we see greatness. And one of the best things about seeing greatness for me is a historical aspect from it is where were you when greatness fell? It's one of the reasons why I continuously watch Floyd Mayweather fights. I wanted to see him fall. People know when Ali fell. People know when Mike Tyson fell. People knew when freaking what's it called, when Manny Pacquiao fell. Like those
where
are
were you
all
when JFK was assassinated?
It's basically like that, dude. Like where were you when JFK was assassinated? Where were you, at various intervals in history? And so for me, Amanda Nunes is that GOAT. Zero doubt in anybody's mind. She is the GOAT women's fighter of all time. She is a significant piece of fighting history in combat sports, in my opinion, from a woman's aspect.
And there was a recent challenge and a response. So she reclaimed it.
I love rooting against greatness. I mean, some of it is just obvious, where you really can't. There's no shot, but I genuinely felt Pena had not a significant chance, but she had that chance. She had that puncher's chance, and it was a real puncher's chance. It wasn't just for the sake of the saying. She had a legitimate chance, and she overcame the challenge that was Amanda Nunes, and she made it look pretty good. I wouldn't say easy, but she made it look pretty damn good in that fight. Dominated Nunes, got the win. So yeah, if I were to pick a woman from that division, it would definitely be Juliana Pena. And plus, she has a nice ass. Let me tell you what, that ass is nice.
Doesn't hurt.
Not
at all. And also too, I mean, it's just like I said, that's my favorite person of watching the division would be Amanda Nunes. And her versus Juliana Pena is a great fight. So I watched that fight all day. It's also one of the only fights in the division. So moving on to the women's flyweight. I mean, obviously,
only one.
Is there?
Yeah, there's only one. How can you want to see any of these other women compared to Valentina? How can you?
I honestly, my favorite fighter out of the whole division is Jessica Andrade. She's an absolutely, in my opinion, much more entertaining fighter than Valentina Shevchenko.
I'm gonna give the counter argument to my greatness point.
That's just what I was getting. You asked, you were just like, who else could you pick? I'm like, well,
that's the only one I guess you could pick. She's a bulldog. She's a perennial contender.
Fucking savage. She just goes out there and fucking lays down
everyone except the champion and Amanda Lemos.
And she's been the champion. You know what I mean? Like that's the champion. Yes. You know what I mean? She's been the champion. On her head. She's fought everybody. She dumped Rose on her head. Right, exactly.
Yeah. She is a woman's Hall of Famer.
I wish that she had the prowess to really give Shevchenko a fight. But regardless, that's who
I get a little burnt from Andrade because I was rooting against her so hard. I'm sorry, rooting for her so hard against Joanna. Against Joanna, and she just couldn't pull it. She couldn't get it done, and it always made me sad that she couldn't get it done because I was like, "This is the only one. This is the only one." And then Rose came and fucking did it. And I like Rose, but yeah.
So I like Andrade. That should be my favorite one to watch in that division.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what about you?
I said Valentina, dude. I'm gonna give the counter.
Oh, you're going with Valentina. That is.
I am going. Yeah, that was my pick. I was like, there's only one. How could you not?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that counter argument where where were you when history fell? Valentina is in that realm, but for Valentina, there's just something about her where it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I can't say that I relate to her more. I definitely can say as like a human, I might relate to Amanda Nunes more, but in terms of just everything about her striking style, the way she goes about her fights, she is an assassin. She is a female assassin. She goes in there, she completely dominates. And even though I would agree that Andrade is the more exciting fighter, I think in terms of how impressed I am with those particular fights, there's not a soul in the women's division I feel that dominates and is more impressive in her fights than Valentina. She just goes out, she handles her business. She's not a shit talker like that. She can shit talk if she needs to, but every single instance she backs it up with her fists, with her feet. She's so immaculate in terms of how she does her dance, her folk dance at the end. But just in terms of just in terms of her delivery, no matter what, even if you say Andrade is the more exciting fighter, Valentina will always deliver. And I appreciate that, and that's why I like watching her fight.
Can't argue with that. I agree. I definitely Shevchenko would be my second, clearly. You know what I mean? So but yeah. Okay, women's so anyway, moving on, women's strawweight division. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good fighters in this division.
A lot.
They're actually, I think there are, especially in the top 5. There's quite a bit of talent there. But I mean, it's hard to not pick Zhang Weili, to be honest with you.
Zhang Weili.
This is just right now. This is an overall of all time. This is right now. Zhang Weili right now, she came back. She got the gold. She's been the champion. Now she's a double champion. You know what I mean? And she came back.
Champion, not double champion. Two-time.
I'm sorry. 5 times. Yeah, 2-time champion. You know what I mean? And oh, hello. Iru.
For the people hearing my mic, kissing my cat. You guys hear him purring? Let me see. Let me get a hold of you so you don't fucking. You hear him purring? You hear him purring a little bit?
Yeah, once you get your new mic, we will.
I can't wait, buddy.
There you go, buddy.
Okay.
But there's Marina Rodriguez was looking real exciting there for a second too. But I think Zhang Weili, she's got the star power. She's been there, done that. This is her second attempt.
Yeah.
And there are very few champions get a chance to kind of come back, or fighters even get a chance to come back and have a second reign or a second shot. So, that's for sure. She's up there. She's getting it.
For sure. I mean, you chose my pick, Zhang Weili. She's just so incredible. Just watching her train, she's one of the few fighters that I've seen her training montage videos, and she's just a killer. Stop it! Fucking cat wants to bite me.
Kiss her some more.
Piece of shit. Anyway, he just wants my attention. That's why it's like I struggle, because it's like I love having my cat here, and my cat, when the other cat was here, I didn't feel he was the most comfortable. But now that he's by himself, he's needy because he wants attention because he's bored.
Right.
And it's like, fuck. And I want to introduce a dog into the mix, but I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Yeah, Zhang Weili, just the way she trains, I'm so impressed with. She is such a killer. You see Zhang Weili train, it's unlike anything that you've seen. Probably because several of these women you just don't see train, but just in terms of what you see, she's just, bro. She looks like she's bred by the government to go out and murder. That's literally what she looks like. But I'll tell you what, for the sake of posterity, since you chose Zhang Weili, I'm going to give you my second as an honorable mention, and it is Amanda Lemos, in my opinion. That finish of Andrade was incredible. Amanda Lemos is coming up.
Sit back. Sorry, your audio is cutting out by halfway when you
really
like that.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Because I'm having to read because I'm
I know
going blind now. But no, Amanda Lemos, bro. She's coming up. She's fucking got wins over half the division. She's really what's on tap next. Have they announced? I think they haven't. Have they announced who Zhang Weili's going to face yet or no?
I don't think so. No.
I mean, she's really who's on tap next, and that's going to be an incredible fight. Can Zhang Weili handle the submission game of Amanda Lemos? Can Amanda Lemos handle the fucking onslaught that Zhang Weili consistently brings in all of her fights? That's a great storyline to be had. So yeah, I mean, for my second, since you chose Zhang Weili, I'll definitely pick Amanda Lemos.
Okay. Right,
and I guess the third, if you want to say that, is Michelle Waterson, just because I love her style, because it's Taekwondo-esque style.
Taekwondo based.
Yeah. So for me, as a third-degree black belt Taekwondo, I'm always gonna love those guys. I love Stephen Thompson and shit, but whatever.
Okay. All right. Let's start with the men's and the heavyweight division. Just right off the top. I mean, for me right now, I would say my favorite guy. I mean, it's real hard to beat Tai Tuivasa, even though he's kind of on the down burner. You know, he's just such a fun guy. He is a fun guy in the division to follow. So Tai Tuivasa, that's my favorite heavyweight for this year for sure.
He's one of the top. He's one of the favorite fighters. Period. But you know what? I'm gonna go with the guy that's slightly below him. I'm going Tom Aspinall, dude. Tom Aspinall is great. I cannot wait for him to come back. I hope he comes back stronger than ever. And if he does, he's got a legitimate shot at becoming champion at some point in the future. I love watching his fights. He's got power galore. He's composed when he fights. There's just something about him. He's another Englishman. Everyone loves the Englishman. I like watching Tom Aspinall fight, and it's a shame that he got hurt, and I cannot wait for him to come back.
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk a little bit more about him later on. But yeah, that's a real good pick too. In the light heavyweight division, I mean, there's so much fucking talent, and this is like we were talking about earlier, the upheaval in the light because of the merry-go-round with John Jones. From a few years ago. There's so many new names, but I gotta say right now, dude, Jamal Hill is definitely my favorite guy in the division right now to watch and to see fight, and I love seeing him rise. And I really hope that
you picking him against Glover?
I am picking him against Glover. Yeah, I definitely will. So I feel like he can definitely bring in some new. I don't know if he can bring in stability, but I definitely think he can bring in some good things.
Not yet. Exactly. As long as Jerry is still there,
belt, but
as long as Jerry's still there, I don't think he's going to bring stability because it's really counting down until Jerry wins the belt.
Jerry's a good fight, though.
It is a good fight, but
I want to see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great pick. I know you've been on his bandwagon for a while. I like him all myself.
Been on his job. I've been a dick right here.
I wasn't gonna say that, but okay.
I knew you were thinking it though. You wanted to say it.
No. I'm gonna go with Anthony Smith just because he's so likable. He's such a great fighter. He had his shot to beat John Jones, and it just wasn't a good fight for him. But as a whole, he consistently shows up, consistently does the work. Great guy, humble guy, been through a lot. And he's a great fighter, and he's another guy that I just would love to see at some point be champion. Not everybody gets to be champion, as we know, but in terms of watching him fight, I always look forward to an Anthony Smith fight. I expect great things whenever I see that, and more times than not, I'm going to get those great things watching him fight. So,
yeah, definitely, 100%. Great, good picks. Okay, moving on to the middleweight division. There's a ton of guys to pick from here, and a lot of people would be like, yeah, Sean Strickland, you know what I mean? Like
Paulo Costa,
you know what I mean? Even like Izzy or the champ, but for me, one of my favorite guys to watch in the division, and probably somebody I'll pay attention to maybe almost more than anybody else, is Jared Cannonier. I just love Jared Cannonier. He's fun. I know the last couple fights, even the last fight, I kind of didn't really give him the biggest props, but still, I just love his storyline, and he's super exciting. He's a humble guy. He's still, I feel like he's one of the only guys who comes out and he's just himself. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't have anything prepared. He just doesn't care about the cameras and stuff. And sometimes he does say something, but his blonde Brunson, the Blood Bronson line.
I know that won you over.
To me, that won me over. That really was. That was it.
That was it.
That was it for me. You're right. Yeah, that was.
I get it.
So yeah, that's my pick.
I'm gonna go with somebody who recently broke out for me, and I'm excited to see what he does in 2023. Dricus du Plessis. I am excited to see what he does in 2023. He's on a little bit of he's on a pretty good hot streak. The obvious picks are Izzy and Bobby Knuckles, so I don't want to go obvious this time around for this particular division. I want to go with somebody who's going to come up and hopefully make some noise. And Dricus du Plessis for me is that guy. The way he handled Hill his last fight a few weeks ago was so impressive. Weathered the storm, handled the shit talk, put his nose down, kept moving forward, and got the finish. And he's just one of those consistent guys. For a while, he's just, got his finishes against the lower tier opponents. He's had a little bit of misfortune against some of the ranked guys, but now I think he's finding himself, and I look forward to seeing what he does in 2023 for sure.
Heck yeah. Moving on to the welterweight division. there's
another plethora. But now we're getting from here down is where you just get plethora and just God, the bunches and bunches and bunches of fucking raw talent and greatness. That's what you get.
Bunches and bunches. I feel like my favorite guy to watch though right now in this division has got to be Chimaev. He's polarizing. He's Chechnyan. He's dangerous. He walks around with knives. You know what I mean? And he's just I don't know. It's something about the way he's handling guys in the UFC, even though he didn't necessarily manhandle Gilbert Burns. Although I do feel after watching that fight again, I do feel like there was a lot of that was him just deciding to brawl with Burns. But I think he could have probably handled Burns
a little better.
Yeah,
probably.
Probably if he would have just focused on it, probably handled.
Yeah, probably.
So, and he is by far, I think, the most impressive guy out of the whole division.
Yeah, obviously.
So,
no doubt.
that's my favorite guy to watch this year for sure. His fights have been very, very, and all his fights are super fucking entertaining and just have this about them. You know what I mean? This build.
Yeah.
So, that's my pick.
Everyone's gonna think I'm gonna say Stephen Thompson, and I do love Stephen Thompson just because of his style, as I've mentioned how many times, because of the fact that I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. But I'm gonna go with the guy who nobody likes. Taekwondo? Am I a black belt in Taekwondo?
I was waiting for it. I was like, he's gonna show us the belts.
Hell yeah, I am, motherfucker. I'm gonna go with the guy that nobody likes. I'm gonna go with Bilal Muhammad.
You suck.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the first.
You're the worst,
bro. Ever since he got screwed, even though he was losing the fight, he got screwed against Leon. I will say it to this day. Leon did not give him a rematch because he was scared. And like I said, he was down in the fight. That second round, he was doing better, and then he got fucking eye poked to death, and that put him out. And then Leon's like, I already beat him. I don't want to fight him, motherfucker. That should have been a fucking no contest. That really should have been a no fucking contest, but they didn't rule it a no contest, and it's ass. It's complete ass. And Bilal Muhammad in his last couple fights.
I've been hot about that since that moment.
I've been so hot about that fight.
You've been hot about that since that fight.
Dude, in his last fight, Bilal Muhammad got a finish. He had an exciting fight. Bilal Muhammad wants that fucking belt. As long, I really want Leon to keep that belt so we can get Leon.
Why? Because he had one finish out of 14? Now he wants the belt?
But he's consistent. Bilal Muhammad.
Consistently boring.
He is a drab.
Decisioning everyone to death.
He is a drab fighter. But at the end of the day, beat him. He gets unanimous decisions, fight after fight. But out of those decisions, you can't ever claim that Bilal Muhammad should have lost the fight. It was a drab fight, but he does what he needs to do to win. I appreciate guys that do what they need to do to win by any means necessary. I don't give a fuck about Andy. I don't give a fuck about Angel. I don't give a fuck about all these other cocksuckers that want to see these fucking knockouts. You're going to get them on the fight. So, dude, appreciate somebody who goes in, handles his fucking business, isn't a piece of shit like fucking Kobe and other motherfuckers in that division, and fucking deserves a fucking opportunity. And I want Leon to keep that belt, so we get Leon versus fucking Bilal again. And he probably will get fucking handled by Leon, but goddamn it, he deserves that second shot to me. I want him to get that second fucking shot.
Yeah, dude, it's like Dana White says. This is the Ultimate Fighter. You don't vote him off, you beat him off. So you know what I mean. I hope. In the cage for money and
a little bit of money.
So absolutely no one wants to see that fucking fight. So, and you're absolutely wrong. And okay, thanks for your pick. Moving on to the lightweight division. my favorite fighter. Boom, roasted. And my favorite fighter is to watch out of that whole. I mean,
I already know you're gonna pick.
Who am I gonna pick? Tell me who I'm gonna pick.
Jalen Turner.
You don't fucking know.
You're not gonna pick Jalen Turner?
Fuck you, bro.
He's just like Jamal Hill. He's literally Jamal Hill except 40 pounds lighter.
Lightweight division. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, but listen, it was real close between Jalen Turner and Beneil Dariush. All right.
Yeah.
Dariush is such a likable guy.
That's my pick. Dariush is my pick.
Okay, that's also
That's my pick. Darius is gonna be my pick.
I mean, dude, how can you not? They're like the two most likable guys in the division.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And Jalen Turner is just such a beast. He's upcoming.
Hell yeah. And Darius, bro, is another guy. Handles his business, doesn't talk shit, goes in there, does his job. His last fight, he had a little bit of difficulties with Gamero, but he fucking pulled through, dominated in the third, got that decision. And just in general, he just keeps on trucking. And he constantly gets disrespected because he's not one of those guys that's fucking voracious and puts himself out there like that the way the other fighters do. And admittedly, he's not as flashy. He's not as flashy as your Gaethjes or your Chandlers.
He's what Bilal Muhammad would be if he was cool in the lightweight division.
That's fair. I can't say nothing. That's fair. He is cool, Bilal Muhammad. He needs the glasses like him. And the accent from New York.
Absolutely doesn't.
Hey, I love those glasses. Bilal Muhammad glasses, A1, baby. Those are A1.
No, glasses. Bilal, no one will remember the name Muhammad. So moving on to the featherweight division.
Another one. Oh my god.
A lot of implications this year in the featherweight division. But dude,
it's still hard. This is so hard. This is probably the division with the most guys that I like.
Bro,
I love them all. I love them all.
Insane.
Holloway, Rodriguez, Ortega.
But I was just gonna say, yeah. Okay, I mean, my favorite fighter, and it has been for years in this division, and still is Max Holloway. I don't care what if he'll win or lose. The dude is just amazing, and as every year we got him in the sport is just a win for MMA overall. So
yeah,
I think once he's done fighting, I think he's going to be a really cool ambassador to the sport.
He will be. So, he'll be the Hawaii what BJ Penn should have been.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, Holloway's probably my number one guy. I'm gonna give you three just because I can't give you just one fucking.
Give me
dude.
two. I don't want three. Give me two.
God damn it!
I
wanted to give you three.
Paragraph with him.
I wanted to give you three because the third guy is gonna be the guy to watch.
We still got two more divisions to go, and then a couple of news. We got to wrap this puppy up.
God damn it! All right, I'll say my number two is Brian Ortega. I love Brian Ortega.
Ooh, nice.
He handles his business. You know, he's just cool. Brian Ortega is cool as fuck. A killer in the octagon. He's fantastic. And I just wanted to say, freaking what's it called? Look out for Arnold.
He'll make love to you and choke you out. You know what I'm saying?
He will. And he's so swift. He's so swift. His girl's hot. He's got it all. He's got it all. But honestly, I wanted to say, look out for Arnold Allen.
Tracy Cortez.
I know, dude, look out for Arnold Allen in 2023. I'm expecting big things. We're gonna see if he can really break through and be the next guy in that division. Volk is obviously head and shoulders above everybody.
I thought Arnold Allen was actually going to be your pick.
No, I love Brian Ortega just in general because of everything besides Max Holloway, I would say Brian Ortega. I'm just saying in terms of looking out for in 2023 because we kind of have that motif with some of these picks. Look out for Arnold Allen in 2023. We'll see if he can really move up to that fucking upper echelon of super elite that you have in that division and that top fucking three right there.
Yeah. All right, moving on to bantamweight. My pick. If it to me, it's clear. Marlon Vera. Cheeto.
Yeah, Cheeto Vera.
Cheeto Vera, man. He's just what a fucking year that guy's had. And
Cheeto Vera is so fucking cool.
You know what I mean? Like
he's so good, so cool.
Good.
He is rag to riches. He is rag to riches.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can appreciate that. Zero doubt. Yeah. For the sake of posterity, though, Cheeto Vera is my number one, but I'll give you my
second. It out, dude.
I'll give you my second one. Dagashvili. I love Dagashvili.
I almost picked him too.
Yeah, he goes in there, mauls his fucking opponents, makes it look fairly easy, talks a little bit of shit, but not annoyingly. He definitely fucking goes in there, calls his shot, and, I really am looking forward to Aljo losing that belt at some point so we can get a guy like Dagashvili as a champion, or as we mentioned, a guy like Cheeto Vera as champion.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, moving on to the last and final division, the flyweight division. My pick from this division is probably not as super obvious as some of the other more popular fighters, but I've seen him. I think he's fought 2-3 times this year, and I just think he's got a huge future in the division. Mr. Kaikara France, fucking just an incredible, entertaining fighter who comes and is game as fuck every time he comes to fight. So, that's my favorite fighter to watch from the flyweight division, and I definitely see him getting within the belt or touching the belt in the next like couple years. You know,
I agree. I 100% agree. I'm gonna pick Brandon Moreno just because another guy, super exciting, fucking lightning hands, smooth, cool. I mean, bro, that's Mexican, literal Mexican fucking pride is Brandon Moreno. He is gonna go out there. He's gonna perform, give his blood, sweat, and tears for this shit. Throw his all. You'll never see. And I mean, obviously, the majority of fighters in UFC, you're not going to see them mail it in. But I will never in life. He's going to be like a Tony Ferguson, bro. He's going to go out there and get a fucking crazy win, or he's going to go out in his shield when he goes out. And I love that. I love especially as a boxing aficionado and a lover of boxing first and foremost. I love Mexican pride. Seeing pure Mexican pride in any sort of combat sport is a sight to be held among when you see someone that's that diehard. And Brandon Moreno is that for, I would say, a lot of the divisions. I don't think there's anybody that's clearly as diehard as fucking Brandon Moreno.
Definitely. Yeah. Brandon Moreno he was one hell of a champion when he first took the belt, and it's just been, the fact that he can have 4 fights in a row with the same guy is a credit to himself, and also
they're all good. They're all great. They're all great fights. They're all great fights. Truth be told, I really wanted you, like when you gave the fights of the year, I really wanted to say, go watch the fucking series. Go watch 2 and 3 between Moreno and Figueiredo. Great, exciting, back and forth, technical, worth your time. That's my 4th. If you gave 4, I'll give 4. There we go. The series 2 and 3.
There you go.
Really at 5, but fuck it. I don't even matter.
Yeah, no. Now you have 8 fights to watch.
There you go. 9 technically.
9. Yeah, true. Yeah, because you're so technically you pick 5. You pick 5.
But you could lump the series as one.
Yeah. Okay. Like Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
My
precious. Like this year of MMA, it's been precious.
My precious.
So our next show will be next year. We'll be in 2023.
Next Tuesday.
But still.
What's on the docket next Tuesday?
I love how people do that. They're just like, hey, I'll see you next year.
All of next week.
Yeah, next week, by the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for me because for us, we don't ever get a week off because there's always something to talk about. I mean, with anime, at least, I'm able to get a couple weeks reprieve so I can fucking, we can get sites and build stuff. There's always news in some capacity, but it's not the same because of the fact that, with combat sports, any type of significant news you get in combat sports always have implication in terms of the immediate and in the latter distant future, in terms of whatever you're speaking about in particular. And some news is just funny to talk about and talk shit and laugh.
100%.
So that's why we come every week to you guys with fucking news, notes, bullshit, banter, and the such.
Exactly. Yep. And there'll be plenty of more stuff to talk about, plenty more bullshit, plenty of more just fucking, there's a lot going on this year. This James Krause thing is going to be huge. One is making a huge splash this year.
Cannot wait to see one blow up. I hope one blows up in a positive way this year.
To see one FC come to Colorado in May, and to have them do their rule set in the U.S., I think will be the biggest significant event for MMA, probably in the world, but definitely in North America and in the U.S. since maybe the fucking original UFC, dude, or since maybe the original UFC and the UFC being allowed and regulated back in the States when it was banned originally.
I don't think it's that big. I think it's more.
I think it's
more.
Figure out how to change the rule sets here in the U.S. to where you're going to allow that style of fighting, bro.
Well, remember they're going to Colorado where they have a little bit more autonomy amongst themselves. They're not going.
They have complete autonomy in Colorado. It's not a little bit. They're like their own commission in Colorado.
So yeah, you'll see NSAC and CSAC and NYSAC get sack, lots of sack. But you'll see
they'll get sacked up on that, but they're not going to
see them get ideas from them. But I have less faith that they're going to make the radical change based off of that one particular instance. To me, I feel that one FC coming to America is akin to when, and I was there at that fight when UFC finally got to break back into to New York. so they could finally be in Madison Square Garden and have those fights there. Just in terms of the one humongous market that they couldn't get into for years was New York, and because of all the legislation and all the previous NSAC commissioner just loathing UFC, loathing Dana White, and having that personal beef. And then when he retired, that's what allowed them to get into New York. And we see consistently New York UFC makes a tremendous effort every single year that they go to New York to put on a plus grade caliber show, and more times than not it delivers. Just because of the amount of fans that are out there, the stage that it's on in Madison Square Garden. If you've never seen a combat sports event in Madison Square Garden, I implore you to go watch. I've seen UFC 205 there. I just went in April to go see Serrano and Taylor, which I still stand on is the greatest combat sports main event that I've seen live. It was electric. 16,000 people in that building, more Irish than Puerto Ricans, which is nuts. Although not that nuts because there's a huge Irish population in New York, not as big as Boston, but regardless,
That's was a lot of whiskey.
A lot of whiskey, a lot of proper 12, a lot of JMO. But no, it's still electric. And I went, my very first one that I went to go see was fucking Triple G against David Lemieux. A fantastic fight that Triple G won convincingly, got a 10th round knockout against David Lemieux. If you've never seen boxing or any sort of combat sport at Madison Square Garden, I implore you to see it. But like I said, in terms of the significance of that fight, or of one coming into America, it's more akin to that. You might be able to say it's bigger because of the fact that it's the second largest corporation in terms of different facets of the sport and the business coming there. And again, just the quality and the fight style, it's unlike anything that you'll get from Bellator and UFC. It is the purest form of MMA in the sense of the literal definition of mixed martial arts. What that entails, the history and the background and the respect that comes with. ONE FC, Andy and I will constantly champion them because it is so much
champion.
It's so much. There's so much excitement. The owner is exciting, not a douchebag like Dana White. They provide their fighters a lot more. They care about their fighters, in my opinion, a lot more. We'll always champion them. And, you know, the more that I'm talking about this right now, the more I really am tempted to just say, fuck it, I want to go. I know a couple people out in Colorado. I could go out and stay with them for a night or two up there. Even if I went for a weekend, I feel like a weekend wouldn't do me justice going to Colorado, since that would be my very first time in Colorado. I hear so many good things about how picturesque it is out there. I said I wanted to go to Colorado for a EDM show at Red Rocks. Don't know what EDM show, but they'll announce one that I want to go. Hopefully they have one in May. That would be fantastic to be able to go to an EDM show at Red Rocks and then go see ONE FC live. Holy balls, that would be a fantastic fucking trip for me.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, dude. Sorry for my little diatribe there.
No, you're good. You're good. No worries.
But
ONE FC this year, they're just doing a lot. They, this past year they debuted on Amazon Prime, and it's going to be only more exposure, I think, from here. They're continuing to do shows on Amazon Prime. They put all their stuff on YouTube for free. Their shows are just continually more exciting. So
yeah,
that is the wrap of the episode. The end of the year.
I mean, I want to, I guess, say one final note, I guess, to our fans and to you, Andy. I guess, we've been doing this now. We took a hiatus earlier in the year. We came back now on W2M Network. Shout out to Sean and W2M Network with a little cheap plug there. But honestly, Andy, and we've talked about this off air so much. Our string of shows lately have been banger, I think. Banger after banger after banger. We hope you guys are getting that sentiment. Yeah, Andy and I, especially Andy, we put so much into this to try and give you guys the best that we can in terms of our little pocket of bullshit and love of the sport of MMA. And we have so many grandiose things that we have planned in 2023 and beyond. We have good traction to accomplish those things. And again, we want to thank you for being on the ride. Without you guys being on the ride, there would be no ride for us. And you guys and the sport and our love for MMA and podcasting continues to push us to try and fucking grow this son of a bitch up to as high as we can, so we can get to the fucking the McCarthy and Thompsons, the Ariels, the Bispings, the DCs. We can get to those motherfuckers at some point in life before we fucking kick the bucket, dude. So again, thank you to everybody who's listened to us in 2023. We do get the numbers from Sean. We do see our numbers on YouTube. We're throwing fucking money in this motherfucker. Like, we're actually throwing our real money into this shit. You know, whether it's my podcast setup, whether it's marketing, where Andy's spearheading that aspect. We want this bitch to grow. We want you guys to love it while it continues to grow. We want some of you guys to say, like, I was there from the very beginning when they were fucking ass. And now, you know, we continue to grow, we continue to evolve
from the ground level.
Yeah, man, from the ground level up to the fucking penthouse at some point in life, brother. That's the goal. You know what I mean? So, dude, fucking, I love you, dude. I love doing this shit with you.
Love you too, brother.
And fucking, I can't wait to fucking do a lot more of these in fucking in 2023 and keep giving you guys again our bullshit and our opinions. And we appreciate the fact that you guys give an iota of a fuck about two random motherfuckers' opinions about combat sports. It means the world to us that we have at least a tiny platform, which is higher than some people have because they're still stuck on ground level or not.
Yeah, I mean, dude, ditto to everything you said. I feel like this past year we did take a hiatus, and I had a lot of stuff going on. You know, I had a natural disaster to deal with and all kinds of stuff going on. But yeah, we're back, baby. Back and live every Tuesday right here, wherever you're watching. Twitch. Thanks for watching on Twitch. Thanks for watching on Facebook. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching on Instagram. Wherever you're watching us, consuming us, and thanks for listening. Spotify, Apple, everything.
Yeah.
Everywhere you consume that podcast, you can find us. Just give us a Goog, MMA from Mark's podcast. We're right there. And Facebook, our Facebook family, thank you so much for the last episode. We did good numbers, and they're still doing good. So hope we can repeat on this and do even better. So it's great to see that. Like Ethan said, this year has been since we came back. I feel like we've come back with more of a purpose, more organized, and it shows and it pays off. And I think the more we become and the more we put into this podcast, we're going to upgrade some equipment this year. We're going to upgrade the setting. We're going to get some better stuff in here. We're going to try to get our first guest this year. This next upcoming year, we're going to try to get an actual MMA fighter, someone involved in MMA of some organization somewhere. We don't know. Don't want to give out the spoilers. And you know what I mean? Like, so we want to just make sure, you know, stay tuned. But yeah, from my heart to yours, I truly appreciate everybody who supported us and listeners, all my friends and family out there who've helped and, you know, like and shared the podcast. And yeah, sorry to take up some of your plugs there, buddy. But yeah,
no, you did a fantastic job. That was smooth as fuck. That was the smoothest I could ever expect you to fucking give our plugs. I guess I'll give you the personal plugs. We can get out of here. Again, you can follow me on Instagram at podcast.senpai. That's my personal podcast Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter right there. You can see it if you're watching on the screen at the bottom link down here. Let me get my shit right. There we go. Boom, boom, right there. SHOSTOPPA24. Andy's is MMA number 4. Mark's. Again, our socials have link trees. You can follow us in terms of the podcast endeavors as well as our personal endeavors. As I mentioned earlier, shout out to Sean and W2M Network for hosting us. Again, Sean, thank you so much for editing and being there and giving us a bigger platform than what we had and helping us continue to grow this bitch. Shout out to my boy Matt and the Talk to Kiki podcast. Again, we record every Thursday, so you'll see that once a week as well, where we talk the latest and greatest in anime. We're coming up on our seasonal reviews there as well as our annual reviews the following week, and we'll be continue on as we do every single season with over fucking 20 anime that I need to watch, which is going to kill me, but that's neither here nor there. That's about it. Andy gave the rest of the plugs. Again, I'll just reiterate them in case you're blind, deaf, or stupid. You can follow us again Spotify,
nothing wrong with those things, by the way.
iHeartRadio, Amazon, wherever you consume your podcast orally or audioly, I should say, I guess you could say. You can catch us there. Again, you can watch the feedback.
I think it's orally.
No, orally is when you speak. If you're consuming audioly, it'd be, you know, via your ears. But in any case, you can catch the replay of our video on YouTube. Just type in W2M Network, and then you can find us there. You can scroll, or you can type in MMA for Marks, and you'll see the title in there as well. We are live every week on Twitch and on my Twitter page as well. So if you guys give a shit about us and want to hear us or see us in real time, there's plenty of avenues. And if you can't because of life or whatever circumstances, we record late. Right now it's 12:38 as we're wrapping up now over here East Coast. Andy's on West Coast, so it's 9:38 over there. Bit late, understand that. Family, life, fucking whatever you're doing, jerking off, fucking shooting up drugs, I don't give a fuck. But if you want to fucking have a reprieve, listen to some people talk shit about MMA, give you some laughs, we're here for you, baby, because at the end of the day, we do this for fun. We do this for your fun, your entertainment, and that's all we want. We want to be fucking serviceable people to the world and provide entertainment via the form of MMA. So
serviceable.
So serviceable, baby. Only, $200 in the backseat of the car.
That's
a little expensive,
man,
right?
You're cheap, dude.
I was gonna say a little expensive.
You're cheap, dude. Florida's cheap, huh? It's just easy over there.
You get more bang for your buck. Hey, how you doing?
You get a little bang for your buck. You know what I'm saying? More bangs in the buck. Hey,
yo. All right, brother. Let's get this bitch out of here. Anything else, Andy?
Nah, man. We'll see you next year.
All right, guys. That means we'll see you next Tuesday. All right, guys. Have a good one. Matane.
We'll see you next year.
If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that I know nothing.